Hello everybody, this is Charles. I'm back in a toy review. This time reviewing the Transformers Masterpiece MP10A Convoy Bape version. And now I'm doing a comparison of the original Bape, which is on my left, versus the knockoff piece, which is on my right. So just to go through a few comparisons. First, let's look at the Matrix. So for the Matrix, the original piece, okay, this is the original and this is the knockoff one. The edges on the top of the Matrix are more defined, okay? There's a protruding part, whereas for the knockoff one, it's pretty much smoothened out. And then for the original Matrix, you can tell that the blue is actually of a lighter shade of blue compared to this one, which is of a darker shade of blue. And also for the original Matrix, this orangey chrome part is of a darker shade of orange, whereas this is of a very light shade of orange. So this is the difference for the Matrix. And of course, for the crystal cut wise, for the original version, the cutting is a lot more defined, whereas for the knockoff one is much smaller. Alright, and then let's move on to the other parts. And then for the gun wise, this is the original gun, okay, the rifle. You see that the plastic grey tab here is over here, whereas for the knockoff one, the grey tab is actually protruded outside. So you see, it's very much protruded outside. I'm not sure if this is apparent for all the pieces or only for this piece, but apparently for this one, it's really out. Alright. So this is the original one, and this is the knockoff one. And before I proceed my video, actually for this, I actually borrowed the knockoff version from a friend of mine who bought it. So thank you to him, Mr. Golden Boy, for lending me this piece of this knockoff piece for review. Okay, this is the original one, this is the knockoff one. Toy-wise, you can tell very obviously that the original one is only a Bape logo on the left shoulder. Okay, there's nothing on the right shoulder, whereas for the knockoff piece, what they did was to use the original MP10 mold, okay, and then they added the Bape logo on the right shoulder. So that is the first obvious difference. And the second difference, I'm not sure whether my camera can actually capture it, but for the original Bape Prime, the eyes are actually bigger compared to the one from the knockoff piece. So I'm just going to shift it over here a little bit. So this is the knockoff one, the eyes are actually smaller. Okay, these eyes are bigger, these eyes are smaller. Alright, and then for the mouthpiece, I'm not sure whether it's been brought out, but for this piece, the cut on the side of the mouthpiece is actually a lot less deep compared to the this is the knockoff one. The cut on the mouthpiece on the side is much deeper. And then we come down to the chest portion. For the original one, you can't move the windscreen, okay, the panels over here, but for here, the knockoff ones, you can actually move them, and they are sort of made of a soft rubbery thing, whereas for the original one, it's more like a plastic. And for the original piece, okay, let me just take these, open this. For the window, it's actually tinted, okay, so it's tinted like a brown, light brown tint, whereas for the knockoff piece, it's just transparent, clear, white plastic. So brown, white. Okay, let me just put this back over here first. Okay, moving down over here, you can see the grills. The grills here are more spaced out. Okay, it's more spaced out, whereas compared to the this knockoff piece, the grills are very cluttered. Okay, so you can tell another difference from there. For the original piece, there's actually a screw hole at the back over here behind this piece of grey plastic. Whereas for the knockoff piece, it's just one whole piece of plastic. There's no screw hole at the back. So this is some surface difference. And then for the original piece, the Energy X is made of rubber, hard rubber, and it fits in really well. For the knockoff piece, the Energy X is actually made of plastic, so it's really hard. See, I can hit on the floor. It's really hard on the table. Okay, it's really hard, and it's like a two-piece thingy. Okay, I think the original one is made of two-piece as well, but it's very hard to detach. But for the knockoff one, you can actually detach it easily. And for the knockoff one, I'm not sure whether it's a problem with the Energy X or the fist. Okay, it's very hard to fit the Energy X in. I could hardly fit it in. I'm using a lot of strength, I can't fit it in. But if you were to, let me just put this aside. If you were to take the knockoff Energy X and fit it to the original piece, it fits in really well. Not sure why. So I think it's something to do with the construction of the fist. Alright. And then moving further down, let's just take Energy X out first. Okay, moving further down, we see that for the original piece, the gas tank here actually aligns really well nicely with the legs. Whereas for the knockoff piece, it just refuses to align nicely. See, it just keeps protruding out. See, it just keeps protruding out, so it doesn't align very nicely. And the most obvious difference for the lower legs is that the joints are really flimsy. Look at this. Just shaking it a little bit, it goes down. So the joints at the lower legs are really flimsy. Whereas for the original one, I can shake really hard and it still doesn't go down. So the joints for the original piece are much tighter in comparison. So when I hold the original one, the plastic quality feels better. Whereas compared to the knockoff one, it feels really cheap. Alright, and the original one actually, to me, I think I'm not sure about the weight wise, but it feels more solidly constructed compared to the knockoff piece. Okay, so next part of my video review, I'm just going to show and do a comparison of the vehicle mode. And I'm just going to do a stop at the video right now and continue in my next. Alright, and here's continuing the second part of my review. So I've transformed both of them into vehicle mode. So this is the original Bape and this is the KO piece. As you can see, for the original Bape, the Bape logo is here. For the KO knockoff piece, the All About logo is here. So just to show some issues with the knockoff piece. So for the original piece, alright, so everything's good, everything fits very well in place. If you look at here, the gas tank actually fits in very nicely over here. Whereas for the knockoff piece, the gas tank, okay, cannot lock to the side of the waist. Plus the fact that the tab over here is too long and it doesn't tap in. So it's the same for both sides. So it's too long over here, this tab is too long. Alright, and it doesn't fit in over here. And I'm just checking the waist portion just to see. Okay, the waist portion wise, it's the same. So the only issue is because this tab for the knockoff piece is way too long. So as you all can see, it's significantly longer, which is why it doesn't tap in completely. And the other thing is the wheels. So for the wheels of the original piece, okay, it's of a sort of a lighter shade of black, and the wheel is actually the wheel itself is actually of how should I say, less thick. It's not as thick as the knockoff piece. As you can see, the knockoff piece, the wheel is very rounded, and you can see the difference over here. Let me just put them together. So this is the original one and this is the knockoff one. So you can see that the diameter for the knockoff piece is actually longer than the original piece, and for the knockoff piece, it doesn't really roll well on the surface compared to the original piece that rolls really well. So that's the thing. And one problem I have with the knockoff piece is that I'm unable to move the smokestack down. So I've been using my strength to press it down, try to knock it down, but just refuse to knock it down. So maybe because the chrome has dried inside or whatever, so I'm not gonna force it instead or break anything. Whereas for the original piece, you can just move it up and down with ease. So what else about this? In terms of aesthetic wise, it looks pretty okay. For this piece, the alignment for the knockoff piece seems okay for me. So apart from that, so the main issues are just the gas tank and the wheels. So wheels are very obvious difference. So yeah. So basically, yes, this is why you get a knockoff piece and the original piece. So all thanks to a very poorly made knockoff piece, the original piece is now worth even more on eBay than it originally is worth. I'm seeing it going at about $1,000 to $1,200 US, and this price is I believe set to stay. So for those of you who can afford the original piece and whoever actually have it, good for you. But for those of you who really want a Bape Prime and you can live with the flaws and the imperfections of the knockoff piece, you can get the knockoff piece at 1/10 of the price. Alright, so but for me, I actually say support the original piece, alright, because there's you can't beat the real thing and the real deal, right? So here's Charles signing off with another toy review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Do stay tuned to my channel for more reviews.